All right. Hello, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started now. And welcome to Q&A with Adronis, our second episode. We are currently broadcasting on YouTube Live, but for those who want to ask questions for Adronis, have to be here in the Zoom room. Okay, so to our attendees here in the Zoom room, you'll be able to ask questions to Adronis. Zach Hader is here as well, too, to be our co-moderator. Zach, if you want to pop on and say hi.
Hey, everyone. Good to be here.
Yes, we had a great presentation with Zach yesterday on New Earth TV Live, so it's great to have him today co-moderating everything. So again, Zach, thank you very much for being here. So again, Zach will be taking your questions. Now, if you guys do have a question, you'll just basically click the raise hand button. Okay, for those of you on Zoom, if you have a question for Adronis, you just click on that raise hand button. You'll see a blue hand that will come next to your name. Zach will come over to you, and he'll be clicking the allow to talk button, and that way you'll be able to use audio. Okay, so those are just for those who want to use audio questions. For everybody else who just want to ask questions by text, you can just use the Q&A button that you see here on the screen for your Zoom and type in your question there, and Zach will be going back and forth at his own discretion between audio questions and text questions. So first, before we begin, we're just going to do a kind of a grounding meditation, and we're going to go ahead and get right into channeling with Adronis. So let's just get ourselves into a nice, relaxed, comfortable posture. And hello, everybody on YouTube as well, too. Thank you very much for being here. Okay, so let me just, one sec, guys. Just want to make sure my screen is working okay here. Okay. Yeah, let me just be 1 second. I just have a little technical difficulty here with the teachings. Okay, that looks better now. For some reason, it was going on my other account rather than my usual New Earth Teachings account. So, okay. So, anyways, guys, let's get ourselves into a nice, relaxed, comfortable posture, making sure the body is free of any tension. You can place your hands on your lap or on the center of your chest if you want, whatever you feel comfortable in doing. Okay, taking a deep breath in. Exhale. And once again, inhale. Exhale. And one more time, inhale. Exhale. And just relaxing and breathing normally now. And I want you now just to bring your focus and awareness down to the base of your spine. Okay. And feeling black roots coming out through the base of your spine, and now just starting to move down through your feet. And going deeply past the bottom of the feet, opening up and going deeply into the earth. And feel those roots, those black roots going deeply into the earth, deeper and deeper, directly into her heart. And as those roots connect directly to the heart of the earth, just doing a scan on yourself right now, just imagine as if there's a green beam just coming down from the top of your head and just very, very slowly starting to scan yourself on the surface and just seeing if there's any dense black liquid energy. So we basically just perceive it as black liquid and just guiding that black liquid energy on the surface, whether it's tension, stress, emotional imbalance, physical issues, anything of that nature. And we're just guiding that energy to go directly into the base of the spine and transfer itself outwards through the black roots, leaving your body and going directly into the heart of the earth. And as it leaves your body, you're again giving love and thanks to the earth, and again sending that loving energy to the earth as she transmutes that black liquid dense energy into pure spirit light. So just feeling all of that energy now leaving your body, going into the earth, giving your love and thanks to the earth as she transmutes that energy for you and turns it into spirit light. And now that we have done this, we will now go ahead and feel the brown energy of the earth moving up through the black roots, connecting directly to our feet, moving up past our ankles, up to our legs, up past our knees, all the way up into the base of the spine. And we are now going to calibrate each of the chakra centers once again. Okay, so feel the connection with your root chakra now, colored apple red. and just seeing that red color within your mind, and just imagine you're either taking your astral finger or your physical finger, and you're just swirling it counterclockwise a total of 7 times. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Moving up now to the navel chakra, colored orange. Counterclockwise, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Up now to the solar plexus chakra, colored yellow. Counterclockwise, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Up now to the heart chakra, colored green. Counterclockwise, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Moving up now into the third eye chakra. Sorry, the throat chakra. Okay, colored sky blue. Counterclockwise, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now moving up to the third eye chakra, colored ocean blue. Counterclockwise, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Finally moving up into the crown chakra, counterclockwise, color violet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, focusing on the abdomen now, taking a deep breath in, bringing all of that air up into the top of your head, right up to the crown. And as you exhale, feel the crown chakra opening up, feeling rainbow light cascading down your body like a fountain, and going all the way down to the bottom of the feet, feeling that energy wrapping upwards and moving up into the perineum. And now just placing your hands upon the heart, taking a deep breath in, feeling the heartbeat. Exhale, feeling your toroidal field expanding and wrapping up above your head and below your feet, and slowly rotating in a counterclockwise direction. Again, if you are advanced, you can see it as hemispheres, and you can respectively rotate the top portion and bottom portion clockwise and counterclockwise at your discretion. And now finally, we're going to connect with the heart. And at the back of the heart, the innermost chamber at the back, we see spirit light. We see Christ light consciousness. Okay. We're taking a deep breath in, and we're radiating that bright light. And now it's imbuing directly into the toroidal field. And now your toroidal field is filled with this pure, illuminated spirit light. That again is available at your beck and call. Okay, so let's take another deep breath in, deep breath out. All right, you can come back now into the present moment. And again, that's just refreshing ourselves, getting ourselves into that state where we can be receptive to Adronis' energy as it comes through. So again, thank you everybody on YouTube for tuning in right now, and everybody here as well. So I'm going to go ahead now and take a moment to bring Adronis in, and it'll just take me a minute. And once I do that, I will be available for him to come through. And again, Zach will be taking your questions. So we already got a few hands up already, so that's great. And we already got a few people in Q&A. Excellent. All right, so give me a moment, guys, and I'll go ahead, bring Adronis in now, and we'll begin our Q&A. This will be about an hour long altogether. Okay, here we go. Terra Soul Star Adronis. We are here. At this time, we bid you greetings and thank you very much for the opportunity of this interaction today. I am Adronis of Sirius, sending love, appreciation, and gratitude to all who are tuning into this broadcast through your internet collective consciousness. We say hello to all of you. We say hello, Zach, for being our moderator today. And how may we assist any of you today? Feel free to begin, Zach, in any form you wish. All right, Zach, we are not able to hear you.
Sorry about that. Yeah. Okay, so I was still on mute. Okay, so Anna T, if you would like to go ahead and audio question from Anna T, if you'd like to go ahead and unmute yourself.
Okay. Can you hear me, guys?
Yes, we can hear you.
Great.
Hello.
So my question is regarding reaction. Spirituality teaches us basically not to react and take everything with peace and neutrality. I'm trying to understand if there's any exception to this. For example, if we see...
Yes, that is an ideal state. That ideal state would relate to the idea of being non-reactionary, where you're basically at peace with everything. So as we've talked about previously, it's the idea of aligning yourself back to innocence. Because when you're moving into that state of innocence, nothing really shocks you anymore. You are really in alignment at one with God. And so when you are there, the ideal state is that you are non-reactionary. Now, it's not saying you have to do that, but nonetheless, if that's where you want to aim yourself, if you truly want to move yourself into that harmonious alignment, one with God, and move into that state of innocence, then the idea of non-reactionary quality is the ideal here, you see.
Okay. And I was thinking, for example, if we can see that someone makes the same mistake again and again, is it okay to react? I mean, would that be beneficial for them to perhaps motivate them and
the idea
gets affected?
Yes, the idea here is that you create your own mistakes. You deem what you feel a mistake is. To another person, in that sense, really, they would not see something as a mistake as you would. Or if they do see it as a mistake, they would only use their own belief systems based upon the state of mistake. So say, for example, if you got up and you tripped over your own feet and you fell to the ground, you may think that that's a mistake. Whereas from our perspective, that's just an experience, you see?
Yes, thank you. And another question I have is regarding a course in hypnotherapy. I'm taking messages for me regarding...
It's a little hard to hear you, Anna. Would you be able to speak a little closer to your microphone?
Oh, yes, sorry. Yeah, sure. So I am taking a course together with my partner in hypnotherapy, Dolores Cannon, past life regression. And yes. Do you have any messages for us regarding this?
Well, hypnotherapy will give you a lot of messages, that's for certain. Yes. Being able to go into that. So basically, it's all about going in, as you would say, as deeply as you possibly can, right? It's not about looking towards the idea of a surface. If you're deciding to work together with others and you are helping them in regards to certain levels of hypnotherapy, you want to look into the idea where their conscious self is, as you would say, as less active as possible. They're going into their deeper states. So you are being trained to do this, yes?
Yes, that's right. Myself and my partner.
Yes. So that would be our recommendation. Bring them as deeply as you can into those deeper states so that, again, profound information can happen for both them and yourself.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Right. Thank you. So again, we will say for each person that does have a question for us, a 3-question maximum, please. This is being shared by Brad through us. We thank you very much. Zach, please continue.
Okay, so text question from Hans de Whale. I hope I'm saying that right. I wonder what percentage of the population chose for the New Earth path on 21 December 2020, and will we be living together with those who chose otherwise?
Well, again, it's not so much as what you would term to be as an absolute choice. The whole idea is that people are still going through awakening during this time. And so you would understand that the array of different perspectives of choices will be in fluctuation. What we have basically stated is that at least 1/3 of your population has moved upon the awakening path, you see. And again, there are those in that sense that are still moving into this alignment. The idea of people who are awakening into their greater aspects of themselves is still going to be on the rise. It's still going to continue because that is the age that you're a part of right now. So it will only continue to rise further and further. But the greatest approximation, again, is 1/3 of your population has already moved into those, shall we say, awakening states. They're being aware that there's a lot more to life than, as you would term, as the dull state of 5 sense reality. So that's what we can share pertaining to that. We thank you.
That's great. Thank you. Okay, so audio question from Maria Johnson. Go ahead, Maria, and unmute yourself, please.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for having me.
Hello.
Thank you, Brad.
Yes.
Thank you, Adronis. I am a medical doctor working a little bit in a weird way. I'm
Did you say a medical doctor or a magical doctor?
A medical.
A magical doctor. Oh, we're happy to meet a fellow magician. Welcome.
No, I'm a medical doctor.
All right.
So sometimes I ask myself, if it's worth carry on with what I'm doing. In one sense, yes, and then I got tripped over with the reality. But I know it's the job that I have to do in this life.
Is there something wrong with the job that you're doing?
Well, sometimes, I get tripped off because people perhaps don't understand how they get helped, and perhaps also the appreciation, but it's not really appreciation. How can I improve more to help people that are awakened, of course, because otherwise they wouldn't find me. And yes, any advice, it's really appreciated from my side.
All right. So Maria, it's very, very simple. Love, compassion, and support more. That's how it works. So basically, in that sense, what you're doing is many of you feel that you have to develop a thick skin, a very, very thick skin, because there can be people who can be rude, who can be inconsiderate, who can be, in that sense, quite conflicting in that way. And they start to spew all of that together with you. You have to understand that they're not angry at you. Really, a lot of that direction of anger is going towards themselves because they have not been able to know what you know. They are not aware of what you are aware of. And so in these particular times, it's very, very important that you are completely expanding and harmonizing and strengthening your own love, your own compassion, and your own support towards them. That's the whole idea. Now, it really does not matter what type of service you're doing, whether you're a doctor or whether you're a traditional doctor or whether you're a medicine doctor on alternative levels, etc., or again, a teacher or what have you. There will be those in that sense who simply want to vent. There will be those in that sense who feel that life is unfair and that you're there and that they're going to put these certain forms of perspectives upon you. Therefore, again, it's the same recommendation: love, compassion, and support. See yourself as them. For when you struggled, for when you had hard times, for when you had conflicts, you know that you were, again, quite unsettled as well, too. What would have been the best thing in that moment for you to have? Someone who is understanding, someone who's compassionate, someone who's supportive, someone who's listening to me. And then when I get all of that, I feel amazing. Well, Maria was so sweet. She was listening to me. She was compassionate to me. She was giving me a hug. I felt so completely secure with her. I'm going to come back to her again and again because she makes me feel wonderful. So Maria, when someone says that to you, how do you feel?
Oh, obviously, very good inside.
And does that make the job that you're doing worth it?
All the time, of course, indeed.
There you
because
go.
I want to help people, not because I'm a guide, but
yes,
just that they feel also and they see themselves perhaps in a different way, in a deeper manner.
Yes.
And this is my aim. If I reach it, I don't know this goal, but I will try my best.
But again, you're being there for people who are struggling. Again, you're being the compassionate worker. That's the higher worker, you see.
Thank you very much, Adronis.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you for your question. Questions, please.
Okay, text question from Maddie Cura.
Yes.
Hi, Adronis. Just curious, what is the 144,000?
The 144,000 goes back into your ancient biblical proverbs. They're related to the, shall we say, nature of the Israelites in that way. Now, Many of you will distort the idea of the 144,000 to feeling like they are, in that sense, the chosen people, and they are the only ones that are going to reach ascension in that particular way, and that many of you have come here to help try and nourish the 144,000. Really, this also has a numerological significance as well, too. It is a type of geometry. It is also representing a different type of code pertaining to mathematics relating to ages to come as well, too. So there's a lot more behind it than what many people think is obvious. And saying, oh, well, I'm one of the 144,000. Well, that doesn't really matter because there's really more than 144,000 people on your planet. It's not about the idea of putting it into literal context that only 144,000 people are going to reach a state of ascension and the rest of you, in a way, are screwed. No, that is not what's being said here. So again, there's a lot of numerological significance. There's a lot of code. There's a lot of enigmas behind all of this in that sense. And it was said to the Israelites in that sense because the Israelites, again, at that particular point in time, were considered to be the chosen people. But that, again, only relates to the mathematics of a certain age that was taking place. Really, it has no relevance in regards to your current age now. So basically, you would say that the 144,000 is an archaic idea that has reached its expiration.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you.
As we stated, about 1/3 of your planet right now is uplifting into a higher awakening state. Moving further into higher dimension. That's where you're going. Yes.
Okay. So there's nothing in particularly kind of special about.
Not really. Again, it was appointed for, again, mathematically, the nature of a particular age that has come and gone. So again, it's not about 144,000 anymore. Again, as we stated, there is a code behind that. There is an enigma behind that. There is a numerological significance behind that. There is a geometry behind that. But again, it suited another age. And it's not so much relevant about where you are right now. It's, again, as we stated, an expired idea pertaining to what many feel is the obvious relating to that of 144,000 that are going to reach ascension. And again, that is a misinterpretation.
Absolutely. Thank you. Okay. All right, then. Audio question from Thomas Tuska. Please go ahead, Thomas, and unmute yourself.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes, you're here.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for the connection. I've got two questions here. One question is personal one, a bit. That is, are there any negative beings affecting my relationship with my partner at this time?
It is not so much looking at everything in black and white. Now, the whole idea in that sense is if there is any quote unquote negatively oriented beings, basically you have to pay attention to your own feelings. You have to be aware of yourself. Now, yes, there can be certain forms of entity attachments in together, but you want to be very, very aware of your feelings. It's not just about snapping your fingers and saying, oh, they're all of a sudden gone, without knowing exactly what form of conflicts that person is going through. Because again, that's what's causing certain forms of attachments. You have to understand that when you're looking at entity attachments themselves are only caused by you. It is your own emotional states, your own traumatic states that are flaring up on a higher degree level. And when this happens, then you're attracting certain forms of energies that are reciprocative and in sympathetic resonance to that pain. So what do? You start reinforcing yourself. You start bringing yourself into positive reinforcement. You start bringing love energy into yourself. You start working with yourself. You start harmonizing with yourself. You start healing yourself. You start dissolving those old energies that are no longer a part of your reality. And now you're moving yourself into higher ground, into higher love states, higher compassion. That's the remedy itself.
That's beautiful. Thank you. I appreciate that.
The BCR technique. That's one idea.
Okay. Thanks for that. I appreciate it. I've got another question. It's kind of a question for you, just a curiosity. What kind of missions do you have here on Earth regarding humanity's ascension process?
Our mission, you mean?
Yes, your mission.
Well, we are not on Earth. We do not exist on Earth. Brad exists on Earth, but we do not. We are again working together with him, and we are a contact. So therefore, as a contact, we function as a guide to simply assist you. But whatever you decide to do with your life is entirely up to you. We're not here to tell you what to do or what to say or how to think or anything of that nature. We exist here helping you because you're family to us. And this is basically, as you would say, family reaching towards family and helping family out. But again, however you decide to live your lives is up to you. We have no expectations of you at all. But we're doing this simply out of the love of family to family. That's our nature.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you for
And
your
that's it for me.
questions.
Thank you.
All right. Questions?
Okay, text question from Catherine Egan. Hi guys, I muscle test all of the time. Is there anything I can do to open my intuitive abilities more?
Well, why don't you muscle test for that? Again, if you're muscle testing all the time, then muscle test relating to the strength of your own inner abilities. So if you want to improve your claircognizance, then you're working with muscle testing to determine what exercises are appropriate for you, you see? So if you want to develop yourself, go into meditation, maybe you're looking into doing chants and you're muscle testing to see how effective those chants are doing relating to the opening of yourself clairsentiently or clairvoyantly or clairaudiently, etc. Or again, you may want to look into visualization and you're muscle testing yourself to see how well the visualization is doing into the effectiveness of strengthening your own inner abilities. So muscle testing is already a great platform. You just have to incorporate it into the work that you're doing to determine and discover within yourself the strength of the inner abilities that you're cultivating in this way. All right? So keep working with that. We thank you.
Great, thank you. That's excellent. Okay, so audio question from Val Lexon. Please go ahead, Val, and unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
How are you, Adronis?
We are wonderful. How are you?
I'm very good. Trying to keep myself happy.
Trying to? Why are you trying?
Well, not trying, being happy.
All right. Being happy. There you go.
Yes.
You're learning now.
Well,
You're learning now. Being happy. That's the key.
Yes. Well, I'm going to tell you a very beautiful Christmas story.
Yes.
I spotted a UFO on my rooftop last Christmas at around 11 o'clock at night in Montevideo, Uruguay.
Hovering above your rooftop or actually on your rooftop?
Hovering above.
All
yes.
Right.
It
so
was
pretty close for comfort if they were on top of your roof.
Yeah. It was great. It was amazing. It was this silent green star. It was a green star or
yes,
glowing
it's not actually a spacecraft though. That's the whole idea. It's more of a thought form energy. It's actually, shall we say, spirit light condensed in that way into your reality. They're existing in their own dimension, and that's why you see them as a green light. But technically, it would not be seen as a spacecraft as it would be as a living being.
It had two lights, a green light
yes.
and a red light, going on and off alternatively.
Correct.
Then it went into this green light that did these flashes.
Yes.
Like white flashes.
Yes.
It looked like a squid.
Yes. As we said, a living being.
And these beings were from somewhere?
They're from another dimension that you would not be familiar with. There is no label for their dimension in your language.
At some point, I felt that they were observing me.
They're doing a lot more than that. They're actually caretaking you. So this is, again, what you would know as a particular type of tweaking taking place. In that sense, a type of engineering taking place, a support call in a way, because you are part of that being.
I felt that at some point, I felt that I was there, or my future version was there. Of
course. You're in two places at the same time, the best way to put it.
And
so there's their dimension to where they exist, there's yours, and now there's the bridge between the two of you. So that would have two realities coming into one, making a third reality.
So that did some interdimensional shift that could affect me in my experience.
A lot of your energies were being shifted, even calibrations to your own DNA in that way. It's opening you up into their realm. It's opening you up into different realms as well too. It's a tweaking, it's a tune-up. That's basically why they come. They're here to say, all right, it is time for Val to have this upgrade, to have this shift, to have this change. You don't ask for it, it just simply comes synchronistically. And that is when it happens. And so they're opening you up. It's like the idea of helping a flower to blossom.
It was very unexpected.
Of course. This is why we say it's synchronicity. You don't ask for it. It simply comes at the right time.
They were here like it had this green color, then it was a shapeshifter spacecraft.
Yes, as we said, it's not really shape shifting. It's just melding itself into different vibrational states where it's going into different dimensions of appearance. So it's not actually changing its shape. It's the idea that it's shifting itself into a different dimension to take on another form.
So they were not from a place in particular. So
they are from another place, you could say, but again, it's not translatable in your language because you have no reference to it. There's no tag that relates to where they exist. It is another dimension that exists very similar to how they appear. The closest approximation would be looking at hyper dimensions or hyper reality. But since humanity has not charted that particular realm and have not given any tags or labels pertaining to that, we have nothing to share with you pertaining to translation. Do you see?
I feel that there could be some Sasani or some Yael.
This has nothing to do with the Sasani.
And the Yael?
No. This has nothing to do with hybrids. This has nothing to do with the Sasani. These are, again, another type of hyper-dimensional organism that's working together with you, as we stated. It's like having a flower assisted to blossom, and that's its nature. So again, it exists in that sense. It is not physical as you would understand physical to be. It would not be the idea of a humanoid presence, although it could take that form through the idea of dimensional shifting. But again, that's not the nature of itself. It came together to, again, work together with you on a much more deeper, energetic, hyper-dimensional level.
My mother saw it.
All right. So we have to conclude this very, very quickly. Your mother saw it, but again, it was more so meant for you. There can be those in the light, in the house in that sense, that can experience this. But again, it's more so here for you. But again, there can be peripheral effects, you could say.
It was very personal.
Yes, it was.
Great.
From what we can detect.
Great.
All right. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Questions?
Okay. Right. So let's just, right. So text question from Jana Dulovikova. How to become more aware of my masculine energy, being a woman?
Forming a relationship with it. Anything that you want to improve within yourself comes through the nature of relationship, about building rapport. So you would have to ask yourself, what does the masculine represent to me? Is there a strong grounding energy to it? Is it representing a form of strength? Is it representing courage? Is it representing fearlessness? Is it representing the idea of, in that sense, holding your ground, assertiveness in that way, action taking? You have to, again, align what you feel the masculine is to you, because everybody has a different version of it. So as you start to bring the masculine energy in, you're doing so because of the relationship that you form out of it. It's the same thing as if a male wants to align more to the feminine. Well, they want to look into the purity and the essence of what they feel the feminine is to them. And now they are working with that energy. They're playing with that energy. They're bringing that energy into them by being it. So it's the same thing. Everything is relationship. The more that you are willing to improve yourself is due to the idea of the relationships that you forge and incorporating themselves into you appropriately based upon how you see it through that relationship. All right. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Okay. Text question from Yoshi Tamiya. Will we have 3 to 10 days of internet shutdown or comms blackout starting this week and into the end of January?
We are not here to give you predictions of such things because they're pointless. The whole idea in that sense is not to be concerned so much with the idea of what you term as blackouts in that way. Should any particular events happen in that particular way, it is all part of the transitional period that you are going through right now, as we have talked about through the idea of 2021, that this is a year of transition and that you are going through a transitional time. Should the idea of certain blackouts come in, because we do not have dates for you, but should they come in, again, understand that this is all part of the transitional effect of basically getting what you would know as the corrupt out of their positions of power. And that's why this is being done. In the event that this takes place, work together with alternative means to sustain yourself. Some of you may have generators. Some of you in that sense may simply just enjoy being in the darkness, reading a book, whatever it may be. Let the transition take place as it needs to, because this is the year for it to happen. All right? So we do not have any dates regarding that because, again, such things are pointless. Just be aware, if these things do happen, look into the idea of alternative means to sustaining yourself, because that is available. All right? Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you. Okay, so audio question from Maria Johnson. I believe Maria may have one question left. Please go ahead and unmute yourself, Maria. And okay. 3, 2, 1. Text question from Eric Noonan. So Eric's saying here that he does some kind of meditation every day, whether it's the BCR technique or ordinary stillness meditation.
Yes.
Or some other kind of imagery, but he's always distracted by racing thoughts, and it's not very often that he actually manages to sit still for more than a minute or two before giving up.
Yes,
Any
because you're
advice?
getting irritated by your thought flow in that way. And it's not about paying attention to that and saying, oh, I'm getting so many thoughts. I'm getting so many thoughts in my head. Well, guess what? You're building up the aggravation. You're building up your irritation. So when the thoughts come in, just let them come in. Don't battle them. Don't fight them. Don't get irritated by them. Don't get annoyed because your thoughts are coming through. Let the thoughts come through. But what you're learning to do is you're just observing the thoughts and you're giving no reaction to them. You see? That's what you want to do first and foremost before you start setting any particular plans in meditation. Because we have worked with many of you who say, Adronis, I just have a mind that just will not be quiet. We never said your mind has to be quiet. It's the idea that you can have racing thoughts coming through your mind all the time, but you're not giving them any juice. You're not giving them any attention. You're not giving them any point of involvement that would make them bigger. So it's like you're seeing a bunch of these stars in the sky. You're not going to try and take an eraser and try to erase all of the stars out of the sky. But what you're preventing yourself from doing is going to each and every single one. Just be aware that your mind is like the starry sky. And you have millions of stars upon this sky. But they are staying as twinkling stars, which means you're not getting involved with them. You see them in observation. You are not attaching to them. You are not getting aggravated because they are there. You're not getting irritated because of their presence. Nothing like that is taking place. You are simply being still, even when thoughts are racing, because they're only going to exhaust you when you attach to them. When you basically take that little grappling hook and you attach it to that thought, and now it starts racing and you chase it. Well, of course, that's going to make you exhausted. Of course, that's going to make you irritable. So what you are training yourself to do, Eric, is keeping yourself centered, keeping yourself in observation, even though a lot of thoughts are in your mind. Give them no power. Give them no attention. Give them no involvement. But it's okay to have thoughts in your mind completely, just like the starry sky. So make your thoughts like the starry sky. You're not going towards any particular star. You are simply in the void where you see the stars here as twinkling stars and simply observing them without any attachment. And that is the idea of non-reaction. All right. Thank you very much.
Excellent, thank you. Okay, so audio question from Desi Kadra. Please go ahead, Desi, and unmute yourself.
Hi, Adronis. So I just want to ask, for the 21st of December, I had prepared to have a relaxing day and just have a envision, my best reality.
Yes.
But unfortunately, I had a bit of an argument with one of my siblings, and I'm a little bit worried that maybe.
So let us ask you this, Desi.
Yeah.
Is that argument still happening?
No.
You have nothing to worry about.
Okay.
If it continued on for weeks and weeks and weeks, and Adronis, I haven't stopped arguing with my sibling, well, then there's something there. But
Okay.
again, just because you pull up something in regards to that day and saying, well, my sibling and I had an argument, big deal. It's okay. Did it get resolved?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yes.
You're
okay.
fine.
So on a negative timeline or
Well, it's not about it being fundamentally negative. Because you have an argument, that doesn't always mean that something is negative. What we refer to it as is calibration. You're calibrating yourself, you're buffering yourself, and you're working together in these particular ways. Nothing always has to be painted so black and white. Realize that everything that represents your reality is a rainbow band of spectrum of opportunity. It's not always so cut and dry as many of you believe.
Okay, thank you. And just one more question. Do you have an answer in terms of the kids right now who seem to be playing up a lot? I have a nephew who this week has just been very difficult to, to be around, and he's been playing up, and I'm sure that's because of the energies around. But
well, it depends. There's a lot of events taking place upon your planet that again can create irritation in many different ways. Yes, the energies are intense, but again, they assign it together with some type of involvement relating to an event. So again, as we've talked about previously with the magical doctor, is be the beacon of love, compassion, and support, no matter what somebody's going through. Don't be concerned that you feel you are responsible for another person who's having a hard time. Not your business. But what you can do in loving service is offer love, compassion, and support as a compassionate worker, you see?
Thank you. And sorry, just one last question. Do you have any idea when the restrictions between traveling to different countries will be lifted?
That's all, again, up in the air right now because there are going to be many different mixes of certain things happening. So again, right now is the year of transition. And as this is the year of transition, a lot of things need to shift. Now, we feel that, again, as we've talked about previously, that there will be a lot more opening opportunities pertaining to travel that could happen around the times of the end of the year. Now, that all depends. That all depends on things are happening. As Brad says, he doesn't want to give predictions anymore. He's just giving the idea of shared ideas or shared visions. So a shared idea would be the representation of looking at a possibility at the end of the year, but it depends on the country that you're in.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for your answers. Thank you.
We thank you. Questions?
Okay, so text question from Ryan McCusker. When will we merge with the fairy realm?
Well, that is happening right now. But again, it's still a little bit of a time. Now, it depends upon the person as well, too, because there are those on your planet that are connecting with the fairy realm altogether right now. There are those in that sense that are actually able to go into fairyland at any time of their choosing. They have certain forms of privileges. But in the idea of the public eye going to fairyland on a mass scale, well, you probably may want to look about 50 to 100 years down the road, approximately. But again, it will start to widen itself. It's like a gap that continues to open bit by bit here and there. But as far as the entire population being aware of fairy world, yes, that's going to take some time. But the whole idea, again, is that certain groups have invitations. And that's the whole idea. In order for another realm to join together with your realm, there has to be a relationship. There has to be invitations. And so, again, there are certain degrees to where the fairy realms are connecting on a much more wider gap level. Again, it's not just about the idea, everybody, about someone snapping their fingers and say, here you go. All dimensions are available to you right now. It doesn't work that way. You have to understand that all of these dimensions are around you right now, but they are locked. They are veiled because humanity is, especially now, in a very fragile state. The last thing any of them want to do is just open up a bunch of veils and having a bunch of fairies coming out and freaking all of you out, because that's what would happen. So again, this is again happening on a very, very gentle, supporting level. We are being very, very gentle with humanity right now because you're very delicate. It's like holding up a very, very thin crystal glass. If you put too much pressure, it will break. And that's what many of you are going through right now. You're very fragile. So the last thing anybody would want is just to open up all these dimensional veils and seeing all these different beings that you're not used to in any particular way because you have not been, in that sense, introduced to their presence. You're going to have shock. You're going to have awe. It's going to be those crystal glasses being picked up and shattering to pieces. That is the last thing that any of us want to do to you. So the whole idea is that this needs to happen graciously. This needs to happen on a very tender level, a very gentle and delicate level. As we've stated, certain humans already have permission to go to and fro the fairyland and back. Again, there are those in that sense that may be getting invitations, but this is going to happen on an independent level, a group level, and then in time, it will start to introduce itself a lot more en masse. All right. But again, those are quite a few years away yet. All right. Thank you.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Okay. So audio question from David Magrilov. Please go ahead, David, and unmute yourself.
Hello, David.
Yes, hello. I'd like to ask you a question about the race of Elohim. Can you give
David,
us
we
a
cannot hear
quick
you. Please speak up. All right, Zach, we would have to mute the line. You're not able to hear.
Okay. All right. Okay. So he put his questions into text format as well. So I'm just going to get them. Please maybe have a history lesson about the race of the Elohim and where they are now.
That is a very extensive form of information. We cannot really give you a big discourse on that because that would take a long time. Elohim is what you would term in that sense in regards to many of your ancient civilizations do not exist on your plane anymore. They do not exist here anymore. They're on different planes. You would understand that they have reached higher states of ascension. Many of them are what you would consider to be the cosmic administrators. All right. And they are, again, working more so in non-physical reality. And they do have, again, certain forms of administration roles that they're playing together with your planet. But you would almost look at them very much like the angelic realms. You are not looking at them simply as extraterrestrials, though some have. But they are existing in higher levels of cosmic administration. They have been appointed by God to be administrators and working together and maintaining the balance of certain games of incarnation. The idea of this star system would be one example to where they hold jurisdiction over. So again, they are cosmic administrators. They are keepers of time as well too, but they do not exist physically among your plane. They exist in higher dimensional levels of consciousness. All right.
Okay. Are they so the giants of the giants of Maldek? They aren't.
Those are
the
Nephilim. Those are Nephilim.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Okay.
So there are indigenous giants that live here on your planet, and there have been giants that have come from Maldek over to Earth here and there in the ancient past. But again, this is a different type. When you're referring to the Elohim, it would basically represent those who assisted in the creation of humanity. But again, they do not exist in this plane anymore. They are not physical. They exist in higher planes, and they are working much more on an administrative level pertaining to games, bringing them into alignments of balance, basically preserving their nature.
Great.
They're not here to be favorites in that way, to have favoritism towards any person or any other form of civilization. They're here to keep balance. That's the nature of their energy.
Brilliant. Thank you. Okay. David's other question is, what are black holes?
Well, black holes, again, as you would term, are singularities. Now, again, it is not quite understood in the nature of your science, but the whole idea is that black holes exist abundantly throughout the galaxy and throughout the universe because they are folds, all right? There is a singularity nature to them, but they are folds. The closest thing we could say is looking at a honeycomb with cells. And this, again, is the idea of the fold that, in that sense, accommodates different dimensions to working together with one another. So the idea of a black hole in that sense is a fold or singularity that is keeping the, shall we say, conjoining fabrics between dimensions together. But your entire galaxy, many galaxies in your entire universe are filled with them.
Excellent. Okay. Brilliant. Thank you very much. Okay, so text question from Ryan McCuster. What can aid plant spirit communication?
Please repeat your question.
What can aid plant spirit communication?
What can aid it?
Yeah.
Well, again, it's just basically direct communication. So what you will want to do is if you're deciding to connect with a plant, Then again, what do we say we do? We do relationship. We form relationship. We bring that bond together. So what you're doing is you may want to take care of the plant if it's somewhere on your property in that way, and you want to talk to a flower, and you put it in a pot, you give it nice dirt. You give it fertile dirt, you water it, you make sure it has enough sunlight. You're taking care of it. You're talking to it. You're working with it. You may want to stroke it in that way. You're again forming a bond, forming a relationship. You're creating compassion between you and that flower, for example. And that's what's creating a relationship. And now you simply tune in to feeling what it is to be that flower. Maybe you give that flower a name. And now you start tuning into that flower and you start talking to it. And now it tells you exactly the amount of water that it would require for it to grow very, very well. It may also suggest that you're putting certain gemstones around the flower to amplify its energy to grow on a much more fertile level. It will talk to you. So how does this all happen? Relationship, compassion, connection. That's how it works. All right.
That's great. Excellent. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I have a question for myself, actually.
Yes.
So
we're actually going to come to you, Zach, as well.
Oh, right. Oh, okay. Okay. So this one question I've had now for a long time, and I know it's this idea of free will and the divine plan and how they intermingle. I know I've asked this question before as well, and I know that we have.
Let us put it in this particular way relating to free will, Zach, because this might make a little bit more sense. You're on a playground, all right? Now, on this playground, you have swings, you have a slide, you have a teeter-totter, you have all the fun things, but it is contained on a field, all right? So as you have this teeter-totter, as you have this swing, you may have a friend that comes in and wants to play as well too. You're on the swings, you're in the sand pit, you're building things in that way. All of a sudden, the rain comes. Now, because you have free will, were you able to control that rain?
No.
No, because it's a natural cycle that's happening in regards to what needs to take place here while you're playing on the playground. So through free will, you can play with any of the fun things that are existing within the playground. But when the idea of the wind and the rain and the storms come, you may decide to take shelter because you feel that that is beyond your control, because that's the nature of a cycle. So this is giving you an idea that when you're working together with free will, the playground is abundant. It can be very, very large and very wide and very vast, and you have a lot of options of what you want to play with. But you are, in that sense, working together with the natural cycles that need to work in that way. That is not within your free will to control. You see?
Yes.
That's how it works. So the whole idea is that you have an active playground, you're playing with people, you get to choose the type of people that you want to play with, you get to choose the type of toys that you want to play with on this playground. But you are not in control of the natural cycles that need to come. You're not in control of day and night, you see? You're not in control of the orbit of the Earth. You're not in control of how bright the sun is. You're not in control of the planets that are around you. You are working together with your environment and making decisions based upon that. So the idea of what you would understand as your nature of choice, free will in that sense, is all based upon what you feel is available to you for what you can make a choice with and interact with and take action upon. You see?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a really good analogy. Kind of like.
But when you go into the greater degree of yourself, you are now aware of all of the cycles. Free will in that sense now becomes illusionary, because now you're moving into greater degrees and you're understanding when the storms come. You're understanding how the day and how the night come. You're understanding how the planets move, and you don't try to change anything, but you're able to observe it. So you're moving past the idea of a free will and you're coming into divine will because you understand the cycles of the divine that happen.
Yes. Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, that's brilliant. I suppose one analogy that I've always known about, well, for a long time now, is Bashar's way of looking at it, where you have this corridor that you're going to walk down from A to B, but it's like the divine plan is like you're going to walk down that corridor, but the free will is like the style at which you will do that walking. down
That's
the
right.
corridor?
Yes.
Yeah.
You may have many twists and turns. You may go down many other different corridors that you think are leading you directly to the source, but in fact aren't, because there's curves telling you this is something you need to look at. This is something you have to work with. And then you'll come back onto the main road again, or the main corridor, and continue down. But there will be loops, there will be curves, there will be twists and turns because of how you perceive life, how you perceive your, as you say, free will.
Absolutely. That's brilliant. Thank you. Okay.
So this
That's
is why
really
we
good.
liken it more to the playground analogy.
Yeah, that's nice. More of like a, yeah, that's lovely. Good analogy. Okay. That's all the questions from me. So moving on to a text question from Jay Denman. Hello, Adronis. I have read about the 12-stranded human DNA in Cannon's books. Is the 12-strand blueprint the original and greatest evolutionary human state for third dimension, or is there something higher than even this?
The 12-strand
someone-
DNA, the 12-strand DNA would be the highest accordance in regards to the current state of your genome. Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
What was the other part?
How would someone evolve their DNA back to this state?
It's not
or
really
to a higher
something that
one?
you can evolve consciously, because again, many of you do not have the aptitude for that. The idea of why some people actually do come down upon the planet existing within 12 strands of DNA is because of the consciousness level that they exist in. So in that sense, you are looking at, in that sense, an advanced master. You could look at, say, for example, someone like Jesus that would come into a body that would basically have 12 strands of DNA because of his advancement as a soul to the kingdoms, the territories, the dimensions that he exists in, to where he is able to culminate that. Again, there are those in that sense that receive rewards because of all the fruits that they have been able to produce, to the heavenly spheres that they exist within. And they are therefore being called specifically to come here to fulfill a specific type of task. And because of their masterful qualities, they are given these bodies in that sense that are quite advanced. So if you were looking at the idea of Jesus, or if you're looking at the idea of Buddha, or if you're looking at the idea of Krishna, these would be people that would have the example of 12 strands of DNA. And it would actually be like a snowflake. It would appear in that way. These are great masters. Many of you would refer to them as avatars in that way. That too would be an example. No, it is not about the idea of you going into meditation and trying to feel that you're going to, by yourself, try and put together 12 strands of DNA. You wouldn't have a clue of how to do that. That's not the idea. The idea of the advancement of your own body comes from the fruits of what you therefore produce. You're producing the fruits within your life that are helping others, that are again shaping the entire, shall we say, infrastructure of how you see life, because you have great masters throughout your history that have done this. So through the nature of the bearing of their own fruits, of their deeds, you are rewarded in heaven. This is again exactly what Jesus had told you, is that in that sense, you will be rewarded in heaven for your deeds. The fruits that you are able to bear. A tree is known by its fruits. And therefore, through many of you who are open-hearted, who are compassionate, and you in that sense come through this life, and maybe it was a little bit rocky, to put it mildly, but nonetheless, you are receiving this reaping of rewards when you go back into the heavenly planes, into the spirit world. And now you'll get other offers. You may say, oh, well, Zach, you did a bang-up job on Earth. So here's what we're going to do. This administration is contacting you right now, and we want you to go to this world, and we're going to give you a really refined body, Zach. All right? It's going to be really, really refined. You'll be able to perform a lot of natural abilities through this body. And you can even put whatever you like into your contract of what you would like to explore in your life. So Zach, if this happened to you, what would you say?
I'd be like, yes, please.
There you go. You see? Because what happened? You got rewards for the fruits that you were able to bear in this life as Zach. Now, you may want to be called Zach again. And here's another body, and you come upon another earth, and you're born, and you have these incredible abilities that wow people, that amaze people. So you've come here, and now maybe they're able to measure your DNA. Well, Zach, you have 5 strands of DNA. Well, that's great. That again is the fruits of your reward. You see, that is how it operates. That is how it works. It is not about a person who is not really doing anything on the planet, for the example of just complaining, just wanting to manipulate people, wanting to hurt people, and feeling that they are not wanting to do anything with their life that would offer assistance. That person would receive no rewards. There is nothing there because they're not in that vibratory state to move up into those higher heavenly planes. They're existing at the base level. And so they will come back again and again and again, because again, you get the most rewarding experiences in physical reality. And that's why you come back. So therefore, they have to continue to work together through this game to, as you would say, get more points, get more rewards, because that's what's going to happen. It's your greater self rewarding you on the other side and attracting these other liaisons to being the speech, the representation of your greater self speaking to you and saying, you did a bang up job. So here's a new body. Here's a new life. Here's something that is really going to be reaping a reward. You may have your own kingdom. You may have your own palace. You may have your own temple because of what you've been able to do. This is why we say, everyone, Earth is a game of incarnation. It's a game. It's a grand university, yes, but it's also a game. That's why you're here. You're playing a game. You're getting to know your soul better. You're understanding other souls that are working together with you. You are learning the lessons of compassion on a deeper level so that you can become closest to God. That's why you're here. That's the nature of incarnation, is to start off very, very low at the base and work your way up the ladder. There are also games that exist in the spirit world that do happen, but they are much more lighter in their form of design. They are not so solid and physical. This is why many will come to these games of incarnation, because they're linear based and allows you to focus more on the physical material aspects of yourself so that you can transcend them. And that's where you have these reaping of rewards. That's why you have this fruit being bared. And now you come out of your body, you return back into the spirit world, and you're getting a standing ovation from your loved ones, from your guides, from your helpers, from everybody, and saying, Zach, you did a bang up job down there. Incredible work. There you got all these offers right now. So guess what they do, Zach? They bring you a box full of, shall we say, packages of offers to go to other worlds and saying, Zach, we really, oh no, Zach, hey, and that's like a tug of war. And now you're basically trying to fight and say, come on, guys, there's only one of me here. Take care, be easy. Easy does it here. Well, go through your letters, go through your packages and see what the next offer wants to bring you. You see? Because you have bored so much fruit on the earth, which is basically the most challenging university there is, you're going to have many other planets that will want you. So you'll want to become familiar with them in your spirit body, becoming aware of them. And if you feel that's something you want to do, well, guess what, Zach? You can go ahead and do it because you've reaped the rewards to do it. You've aligned yourself into the spheres that allow you to see these offers that come to you, because you've offered so much love, so much compassion, so much support upon the earth, and you've borne so much fruit. Now you can go to these different worlds. You can go to these different levels that are much more higher up in the planes of the heavenly spheres, and go to these worlds and live in beautiful paradise on an incarnate level. Sounds exciting, doesn't it?
Sounds amazing.
That's how it
beautiful.
works. That's how it works. But Earth, in that sense, reaps the most rewards than any other planet. That's why so many come here, because of what's happening right now. There will come a point where Earth will go through a slow period, and people are like, it's not so exciting, because now another planet is going to be exciting, because it's going to go through very similarly, maybe not to the greatest extreme, but very similar to what Earth did. And guess what? The crowds of souls will gather around that planet. All right. Do you guys want an idea of what that other planet is?
Go for
We'll
it.
find it in Bernard's star. You will find it in Bernard's star. All right, because they are living a very, very similar evolution to yourselves. And they are going through, in that sense, a, shall we say, pre-industrial period right now. So many of you will be very attracted to that planet because it is an Earth-like planet as well, too, because they will be going through their shifts, because they, too, have been going through slave systems. So that's another example of another exciting planet, not the only one, but one of the exciting planets that are on the horizon. Because Earth is going to go through a gentle period. It's going to have, in that sense, clear skies. People are going to be here on this planet, but there's not going to be that much of population because many of the souls will conclude their lives and they'll get other offers. And we're talking to about all 8 billion of you because many of you have done a bang up job. And you go back into your own palaces in the spirit world, and now you're getting boxes of letters, boxes of invitations. You were able to get through Earth. You're a hero. Oh, please, Zach. Oh, please, Bob. Oh, please, Jenny. We want you to come here. We want you to incarnate. We want you to do what you did on Earth here. It will be amazing. And there'll be a lot of fruits that you'll be able to produce, a lot of rewards that will come. And now it's up to you. You have to say yes. You're the one that says yes. You take out the invitation that said, oh, come to Earth and do this. Oh, okay, great. Sign me up. I'm there. And so here you are now. When this lifetime concludes, you'll get other offers. It's like you're a contractor, like you're a free agent in that way. And you go to these different planets and you can incarnate there and you can do the same thing, but perhaps even on bigger levels on other worlds as well too, because your expertise is invited to come there, to play their game. That is how the game of incarnation works, everyone. All right? It's not about altering your DNA. It's about looking into the idea that you are who you are because of the rewards that you have earned, because of the fruits that you have bared. That's the idea. All right?
That is so
we
cool.
Thank you. We are out of time for this interaction today. We thank you all for all of your questions. We thank you, Zach, as well, too, for your moderation. We wish you well. We give you the love and happiness and joy of our hearts directly into yours. And we will speak to you again in another perspective of the now. Goodbye. Okay, well, that was a great surprise from Adronis at the end. Thank you, everybody. Great. Thank you, Zach, again, for being here and moderating this today. Hope you guys all enjoyed the webinar today. There will be another one in 2 weeks' time, okay? And it's basically going to be a presentation webinar, okay? So as we get closer to the month, let's see, today is the 15th, 16th. So yeah, on the 30th, we'll have a webinar of Adronis, okay? It'll be a paid webinar, and it's going to be called Adronis Earth, the Grand University, okay? So he's going to be talking more about what he just talked about here to finish it up. So again, very exciting. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you, everybody on YouTube, for tuning into this as well, too. If you guys want the recording, just go to my YouTube channel, okay? And you can pull this episode up. And thanks again, guys. We'll talk to you very, very soon. Tomorrow, again, I have the Spirit Ambassador Classroom. So go to newearthtv.live, okay? Sign up for a free account. If not, just log in. Go to the events page. You'll see the Spirit Ambassador Classroom there, and you can sign up for that. We got some exciting things to talk about there tomorrow, too. Thanks, guys. Take care. Talk to you soon.